kuyenda bvuma sarudzu imwe nguva uchaida.
Good day, fellow Zimbabweans. This is your brother, Pastor Farai, from Witness of the Truth. Today, I want to talk to you. Until when we continue to suffer while the leaders are busy splashing money? While the leaders, they're eating, yet the masses are suffering. Yet the leaders, they are affording 3 meals per day. Yet the masses, they cannot even afford to eat a meal a day. My people, that is not normal. King Hosea, you President Mnanangagwa, you need another extra 2 years for what? When you have failed? What more extra years that you need? Look how people are suffering. Look how the infrastructure have collapsed. Look how our roads, the civil servants, the way you guys, you are splashing money. Just look at the wedding for Tagure's son. That huge sums of money, which bank have authorized it for you to withdraw that kind of money? My people, I just want you to look at this picture. For many years, ordinary people have continued to suffer while the leaders continue making promises. Families are struggling to survive. Young people are graduating from school, universities, technical colleges, no jobs. Hospitals are failing to provide basic treatment, basic medication. Businesses are collapsing. But corruption is continue rising up while the ordinary suffer. Until when? At the same time, reports of intimidation. At the same time, reports of threats, abduction, arrest of opposition members, violation of human rights. Citizens are being threatened for speaking freely. Citizens are threatened or speaking the truth. Opposition supporters are being intimidated. Opposition, they are being beaten up. Activists are being arrested. Journalists and critics are being silenced. People live in fear because of King E.D Mnanangagwa and his cabal. A nation cannot call itself a democratic when the citizens are afraid to express themselves freely. Hezekiah, this is a sugar-coated democracy where people, they are not able to express their political opinion freely. Democracy is not only about elections. Democracy is about freedom. It is about human rights. It is about respecting different political opinion. It is about protecting citizens instead of intimidating them. Look right now. The ZANU-PF affiliates, they are busy threatening citizens. Citizens, they are not able to express their political opinion because they are being threatened by these so-called affiliates. Despite these serious national problems, despite all how people are suffering, despite the rise of corruption, despite the rise of Zgananda, yet you are busy campaigning, telling citizens you want to extend your leadership with another 2 years. For what? My question, King Hezekiah, is simple. Why do you need extra 2 years after already you have been in the office for 10 years? If intimidation, political persecution is still happening after 10 years, what are you going to do, Mr. President? Do you think there will be a change in 2 years? If corruption is still affecting government institutions after 10 years, what major transformation will happen in 2 years? In 10 years, only Chivayo, Tungwarara, Tagwirei, and Scott are the one getting all the government tenders. What are you going to do in these next 2 years? If hospital still lacks medicine after 10 years, why should citizens believe that extending power is the answer? King E.D Mnanangagwa, Zimbabweans are tired. People are tired of unemployment. People are tired of poverty. People are tired of fear. People are tired of corruption. People are tired watching political violence. Houses being burned because of political violence. People are being beaten because of political violence. People are being abducted because of political violence. People are tired watching the ordinary struggle to survive. Leadership, King Hezekiah Mnangagwa, leadership is not about remaining in power forever. Leadership is about results. Leadership is about protecting citizens. Leadership is about respecting the Constitution and the human rights. Zimbabwe belongs to all citizens. Zimbabwe does not just belong to Chivai. Zimbabwe does not just belong to Tungwarara. Zimbabwe does not just belong to Tagwire. Zimbabwe does not belong to Scott. Zimbabwe does not belong to you, King Hezekiah Mnangagwa, and your family. But Zimbabwe belongs to all citizens. It belongs to everyone regardless of political affiliation. It belongs those in the city. It belongs those in the village. It belongs those in the mines. Belongs those everyone. He owns part of Zimbabwe. It belongs to the unemployed youth. It belongs to the workers, the church, the student, and the ordinary family. Citizens are not asking for luxury. They are not asking for luxury, King Ozia. People are asking for dignity. People are asking for freedom. People are asking for justice. People are asking for accountability. People are asking, upholding the human rights. King Hosea, what we want jobs. We want functioning hospital. We want affordable living. We want freedom of speech. We want respect of human rights. We want a free and fair political participation. leadership that respects the voice of the people. A government should never fear criticism from citizens. A government should not fear criticism from the citizen. Silencing criticism does not solve economic problem. Arresting opposition does not create jobs. Beating opposition does not create jobs. Intimidating activists does not build hospital. Violating human rights does not strengthen democracy. Real leadership listen to the people. This message is not about hatred. This message is not about violence. This message is not it is about accountability. It is about justice. It is about democracy. Zimbabwe had a great potential, but progress becomes impossible when fear and intimidation dominate political life. The life of Zimbabwe must build on peace, constitutionalism, democracy, and respect of human rights. No leader is bigger than nation. Chivayo is not bigger than the nation. Tagwine is not bigger than the nation. Tungwarara is not bigger than the nation. You, King Hosea, Emerson Mnangagwa, you are not bigger than the nation. History will remember whether leaders defended democracy or weakened it. History will judge you. Zimbabwe deserves a future where citizens can speak freely, without fear or intimidation, arrest or persecution. We must reject violence. We must reject corruption. We must reject political intimidation. We must reject human rights abuses. We must continue speaking the truth, justice, freedom, and accountability. A Zimbabwe, it is possible. A better Zimbabwe, it is possible. The voice of people matters. Thank you. Share.
Makore maviri unomadini Hezekia iwe wakatadza gumi yanoraudzira vuma kuyenda vuma sarudzu imwe nguva uchaida